chance to hear it, so let her tell it. People on the streets say Sabrina speaks. Tune into the show, she will let you know. Tell all your friends and family. Real talk is no joke. You get the news straight up from grassroots and concerns. You hear some people gone. So tell all your friends to tune in to
Good evening, Cayman. I'm Sabrina Turner, and welcome to Sabrina Speaks, your daily dose of clarity, truth, and community insights. Every weekday from 5 to 6:30 p.m., we're tackling the issues that affect you, from national headlines to grassroots concerns. Whether you're in traffic or winding down your day, this is your chance to hear it straight and speak your truth. So buckle up, Cayman. We're not holding back.
This is the show. We gotta let you know. Now we got to go.
And now here's Sabrina.
Good evening, Cayman. And of course, those of you who are tuned in to another edition of Sabrina Speaks from across the seas, right here in our region, all over the world. It is indeed a pleasure for me to welcome you to yet another Sabrina Speaks right here on cmrtv.com. And for those of you who are streaming us live via YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram pages, it is a pleasure to have you join me again today. As you know, our conversations here continues. And as we build our platform here and this community, the feedback has been phenomenal. And I want to let you know that you are welcome. You're more than appreciated here to join us. And your engagement speaks volumes as we continue to grow this space. But, today is no different than any other. I'm excited to engage and see it from the lens of a merchant here in the Cayman Islands, and understanding how it must be operating in this dynamic climate here, and understanding the challenges and opportunities as a merchant. And, we are dependent on imports from the United States right here in the Cayman Islands. And it is consistent concerns, I'm quite sure, of those vulnerabilities. And I'm so pleased to know that the focus of this show today will be based in seeing it from the lens of Mr. Woody Foster, a prominent business owner and gentleman in the Cayman Islands, to hear his perspectives, because we wanted not only just be lopsided. Yesterday, we had it from an overall perspective and those challenges. And I thought it was only fair to invite someone who's a merchant, who's providing and has sustained our Cayman Islands with food for decades. As we build the platform here, I want to welcome very early to class. Yes, Miss Barbara, good evening. It's a pleasure to have you here with me this evening. And Miss Donna, wow, you're early. Welcome. Jim, good afternoon. How are you? And it's a pleasure to have you here with us as well this afternoon. Exciting things. And I'm looking for your participation, definitely your engagement here as we explore and hear more from the perspective from Mr. Woody Foster for sure. So yes, we are definitely going to be putting the spotlight on Mr. Woody Foster in a few minutes here as we build this community and just hear exactly what's going on. I hope you've been enjoying the content thus far. Yesterday was quite interesting with Honorable Christopher over there in Bermuda. And it was indeed very, very informative. And I hope that you found, and there were a lot of takeaways as well from that, because we are very similar in size. We are both British Overseas Territory jurisdictions, and depending on income, definitely made from tourism and our financial industry, even though their population is less than ours. I hope that you enjoyed the information that was shared. And again, seeing the similarities, seeing the challenges, seeing the risks, as our brothers and sisters over there, and the importance both as associated CARICOM member, small island states, how it's imperative to keep these relationships going. And it was so good that he got the Bobo and TD thing, and he could relate to certain landmarks here in the Cayman Islands. And of course, knowing our very own Caymanians, it was refreshing to speak to someone like that. And it was as though he was right here. So it's again power of technology. Hey, Miss Dawn, welcome, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you, and thank you. I'm happy you're pleased and that you two are enjoying. Hey, Darlene McKenzie, school friend, class of 1990. Yeah, we age like fine wine. Michelle, welcome, welcome, welcome to you. Yes, thank you so much, Miss Dawn. Miss Michelle Woods, welcome. It's a pleasure to see you. Kingsley, good evening and welcome. Hope you're all tuning in and you'll participate and you can share your feedback with the topics that we're sharing here with everyone this evening, and making sure that we're doing this from a balanced perspective. And I am so happy that I'm able to bring it full circle to you, have the experts on, and I am again more than honored for Mr. Woody accepting the invitation and giving us an idea to see what navigating the business world is like here in the Cayman Islands, and knowing they have been around for years and doing a phenomenal job. I just want to applaud him for putting himself out there and in accepting this invitation. Miss Donna, yes, you indeed. Rather interesting yesterday, and looking forward to hear what Woody have to say today. Of course, he knows that too, and he's excited to be here. Good evening, Miss Delcy Hicks, Miss Emma Parchment. Damien Henry. Blessed good evening to you. And good evening, Mama Sandra, the cornerstone. Yeah. Miss Connie, you see you trouble. Connie, you keep me laughing. Miss J, welcome to each and every one of you. It is a pleasure to have you all here with me this evening. You know, I usually start the evening with a motivational quote and we go straight into the conversation, because I know you're hungry to get this until 7, but I do not want to torture any of my guests. But however, the conversations and the insights shared here, we will go based on my guest, with making sure that we keep you engaged, and once the demand is there, respectful of their time and their presence with us. We will go until 6:30 if we have to go over a little bit. Once our guest is okay with that, we will do that as well. But the motivation for today that I have up on the screen for you, in every day, there are 1,440 minutes. That means we have 1,440 daily opportunities to make a positive impact. What did you do today? What impacts did you make on someone? What impacts did you make on yourself? What impacts have you made on the world? And I know every day, Foster's, the family of Foster's, is making a huge impact on the well-being, the quality of life, and quality of products that they have on their shelves for us, like so many others as well. But we know where Foster's stand, and it is a pleasure for me to share that quote with you today. Hey, Miss Connie, you see you laughing because you know your trouble. Yes. Hey, Miss Rankin, good evening. Haley Height, welcome. Kevin, salutations to you as well. Miss Gina, you too, you know, you trouble too. Good evening, it's a pleasure. Hey, Marshall, definitely. Welcome, welcome. It's so good to have you all here with me this evening. Now, let's go ahead and invite Mr. Woody. Good evening, Mr. Woody. It's a pleasure to have you with us. Welcome to the Sabrina Show.
Hi, Sabrina. How are you today?
I am fine, thank you. And again, thank you so much for accepting this invitation to be here to see it from the lens of a merchant. You know, far too often we've engaged and we see the news and all of the information that is being shared on the most recent newspaper article of highlighting how much imports the Cayman Islands actually do and our dependence on the United States. And we spoke a bit about it quite generally here on this platform. And I thought it was only fair to welcome someone like yourself who is in the business, being your founder, founded in 1980, and you carry on the legacy. Just to get an insight from your lens. And I thank you for giving us this opportunity. It is a pleasure to have you.
Well, thank you.
Now, I know you did not expect this at all. I know you didn't. And I'm going to add something to the stage here for context. From whence we came. Do you recognize that picture?
I do. I was there. I was
Yes.
only 11, but I was there.
Now that goes back to December 10th, 1980. That was Foster's Food Fair Airport Store, and that opened with less than 6,000 square feet and just 25 employees. Now look at where we are today, and it is amazing for where you all have come from. And here we go. That's what I remember. That is really what I remember when that store opened, and just going in there as a young child. And it is so good for people to understand where we're coming from and understanding the resiliency, the challenges that you may have faced, but it still allowed you all. Look at there. That's at the greenery, right?
That's the old greenery where
The old
J.
greenery.
Michael's used to be.
Correct. And then you went from that to this.
Correct.
You guys kept going. Now, I even wonder if people even realize that you all were recognized internationally, not once, but twice, for being high. You got international recognition. Do you mind sharing a little bit on that for me?
It's for the IGA, which is the International Grocers Alliance. We got recognized once under my dad's leadership and once under mine for Retailer of the Year.
Wow. And that's amazing for where you're coming from, where we're going, and you still are here with us today, just doing so much. What actually keeps you all going? And I mean, it's a huge investment that your family has made. You continue to grow, and even with the whole progressives and the wholesale arm of it, that is something that you weren't deterred. You continued.
Yeah, well, we were taught to work, so we keep working.
I can only imagine. But the concerns where we're looking at right now, to be honest, and I want to kind of put in our discussion, specifically focus on those critical areas with, as a merchant here in the Cayman Islands, and significant resilience on imports, particularly from the US. We know that the stats have shown that we here in the Cayman Islands import at least 90% of our food. And that is a substantial portion coming in, and understanding the vulnerabilities. Now, we've seen these reports. How susceptible, if that's the right word, is the supply chain in making sure that we are okay here in the Cayman Islands? I know for years you all have built significant relationships with your suppliers, but how with all of these things going on right now, is there a risk? Are you comfortable?
Yeah, I mean, there's a risk. We live on a tiny island.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we were, arguably, 80, 90,000 people. I guess we could use 90,000 people now. But it's a small number in this scheme of things. So while we might be large in Cayman, we're not really large anywhere else. So we're dependent on somewhere else to get the large majority of our food. And I know people would like us to go to Central America, South America, Mexico, other places, but it's not that easy. And I suppose that's part of what we're talking about here today, so we can not justify why we have to keep getting from the US, but maybe just talking about what some of the options are and why we stick with the US. So we can just get into that in however you really want to do that. But generally speaking, the convenience and consistency of the US is hard to beat. Because it's not just that, you might be able to buy watermelons in Honduras cheaper or whatever. Getting getting a ship to the Cayman Islands multiple times a week, every month, every year, consistently, is where the challenge is. And so it would be hard for any small country to put together a basket of goods that could fill a ship that way every week. That's the complicated part. And Cayman punches way above its weight in terms of how small we are, but how much money we have, right? And so we are very first world. And with the cosmopolitan nature of Cayman and the amount of money that is here and the expectation of our consumers, being out of stock or having second-rate product or a second-rate supermarket for that matter is not really acceptable, right? So we've tried getting from Central America before. I can't really say South America very much. I think we're getting a little bit of chicken from Brazil now, but that's through the US. It's not direct from Brazil. It's difficult to dealing with those individuals direct, because it's just not like it is in the US, where it's consistent, and consistency is such a monumental word. Right. Because at the end of the day, when you come in on a Tuesday morning to feed your child before going to school, you don't really care what my problems are. Correct. You just want the product that you need, right? And that's the long and short of it. But I mean, we can get into it. We can talk about specifics. I mean, I don't have any data with me today, but
no, I think we just
questions the best of my ability.
Right, not a problem. I mean, you're in it, so you understand what the risks are. And I'm quite sure you're not blind or under a rock, knowing that you're dealing heavily with the US, with the potential of US trade policies shifting and, the reintroduction of tariffs. How does your company, your organization, anticipate or adapt to these changes directly that could impact the cost of goods? Understanding people are saying cost of living here is so high. Every time I go to the supermarket, things are just going through the roof.
And it's true. So I mean, Cayman is top 5 in the world in terms of places to live. There's nothing I can say here today that's going to fix that. Can we mitigate against that? Yes, and honestly, we have to. It should be our job to do a better job in doing something about that. But to say that we can replace the US with somewhere cheaper and doing it consistently is going to be a huge challenge. Because I mean, I've spoken to the minister. Jay, he called me one morning at I think 6:45 one morning. He starts early, and he knows I start early. I was like, wow, that's pretty early, Jay.
Yep.
He called and we started talking about food security, and he's telling me about people that he's talking to in Dominican Republic and Colombia. So he's out there pounding the pavement. So God bless him. That's great. That's good to hear.
Right.
But I said the same thing to him then as I'm saying to you now is, Minister, can we fill a ship every single week? Can we do that? So that's not just food, right? Because I mean, they're not little ships.
Right.
And we're also sending nothing the other direction because we don't have anything to send. So it only comes one direction. So from the standpoint of Miami, it comes southbound full of cargo and it goes northbound pretty much empty. I mean, there's a little bit of stuff. We send back pallets and crates and stuff, but boats going back largely empty. So all of the expense has to be put on the south journey. If it's coming from Colombia, well, it's going to come north. But again, we're not sending anything back. Now, possibly, we could be a part of, say, a triangle. So it goes Colombia to somewhere else and then to Cayman, or because like some of that happens now with Hyde Shipping does that, right? So they include Belize, and there's also a port in Mexico to help offset some of the lack of tonnage. So we have to do things like that. But again, you're talking about complication,
right?
So it's just not that easy. So saying it's not that easy is not a response to not finding solutions. It's going to be difficult.
I just think that the concern right now with everything that we're hearing in the media, and you understand where media is going, that there would be some current concerns where sustainability and looking at other options, understanding buying power, even with their brothers and sisters regionally is where you're coming in. But again, looking at you being a private entity providing a service, that is where people, I think, just want that security that should, God forbid, something happens and there is shortages, or that, your resilience, your buying power then is impacted, the trickle down effect.
I mean,
It's not
we've been
gloom and gloom. This is just real talk.
No, well, yeah, we're just talking. Well, okay. I use the word facts loosely. I mean, anybody can criticize anything, but I say it as I say.
Correct.
I mean, we've survived Ivan. We've survived COVID, wars, hurricane. I mean, we've survived a fair amount of hits to the Cayman Islands being a small place and easy to say, well, we don't need to send them food. We need to take care of ourselves. I mean, that was a huge concern during COVID. And there was actually at one point during COVID where the US said they weren't going to send PPE outside of the US. And we had stuff that got held up. And at the end of the day, they released it because it created a huge concern because of their export market. They're not just the Cayman Islands, they were affecting their export market, which is huge business for them. So it's not as if they can simply say, well, we're going to keep it for ourselves.
Right.
Because there's a lot of Americans that are dependent on export.
Correct.
Right. So they're shipping stuff out, not just bringing it in. So they can't just simply say that. I mean, it's there. The threat is there. But to date, we've survived pretty much everything that's been thrown at us. And we get through it. And I'm not just talking about Foster's, I'm talking about my competitors.
In general. Yeah.
Kirks and Hurleys and Cost You Less. I mean, they're all part of the game, right? So I'm just, I guess I'm representing the industry.
Excellent.
And we get through it. And I think in large part, Cayman gets treated better than, say, the rest of the Caribbean. And in large part, that's because we pay our bills on time.
Wow.
We don't have any problems with having to chase us. And that's really important, right? There's no issues with pirates of the Caribbean. The Cayman Islands, represented by the supermarket industry players, not just Foster's, are well respected, and our suppliers take good care of us. And when the chips are down, they have backed us, and I think that's been proven by some of those big ones like Ivan and COVID being probably the two biggest.
Correct. Now, I know this is the height of hurricane season, and back in Hurricane Ivan, I was reading on your website actually that your mom and I think other couple members sheltered in the airport store, and that store actually the roof caved in. But yet,
I was there too.
yeah, and from what came of that, and I'm going to try to pull up a picture here to bring people back to reality. You all then were the cornerstone really for helping us get back literally days after that disaster. It is just, I can remember this. That's one image. You remember that?
I do.
Yep.
Including the little merry-go-round.
Yes. I can remember that like yesterday. And, with the lines outside and what you all did to help the Cayman Islands after this disaster, that, the police and all that sort of stuff were there to help us, that yet you've built in this whole resilience as you continue to grow and invest in a place you call home. So how does Foster's manage inventory levels to buffer against potential, disruptions, be it natural disasters or like what we're seeing happening, especially for perishable goods?
Well, perishables are obviously difficult because we can't stock up on perishables for obvious reasons. But like we bring in a lot of extra water, canned goods. So I mean, we know roughly because you can look on historical numbers, um, and buy accordingly. But at the end of the day, it's about replenishment. So if you take hazard management, for instance,
Yeah.
we're a part of the process that provides food for the shelters. Um, so they give us an order. We do two shelters, I think it is in Armagh, John Gray, and I think one in Westby. Um, and when there's a storm coming, because they don't want to pull the trigger too fast because there's a logistics involved. And if they get it to the shelter and they don't need it, then of course they got to send it back, right? So there's logistics. So they wait until they believe it's the right time, and then we get it to the shelters. So we know what they need in advance because we communicate with them earlier in the year before hurricane season starts, and we put aside what they need. Now, what we used to do was quite a long time ago. We used to actually fill the order, wrap it, write the shelter name on the pallet, stick it up in the warehouse, and sort of forget about it until they either needed it or until the end of hurricane season. The problem we would then have is that we then had product that's been sitting around potentially for 6 months. So even with canned goods, it's a bit of an issue. But with things like saltine crackers and whatnot, they're losing shelf life. So now we got to get rid of this product. We got to put it on special. We got to get rid of it. And it was, again, logistics and difficult. So what we do now is we know what the items are, and we have it earmarked in our system so that we continue to buy and sell that product. But we have enough so that on any given week, we have the product on hand. We're keeping it fresh, right? So the product comes in, the product goes out, and whenever they need it, it's fresh product as opposed to it sitting around for months on end. But those are just kind of some of the logistics that you have to deal with in terms of it's not just the act that you need it, but it's the logistics of it. What happens if you then don't need it? Now I have an issue. I got to do something with it, right? So one thing you hear when you listen to these shows, and I'm sure you hear it a lot from people that are calling in and giving suggestions. I love this. Well, all you need to do is
this.
There is no all you need to do is. There's a whole lot of moving parts.
From the time you hear that, you know it's a trouble. That preamble says it all, coming from the lens of you who are in it daily. Now, again, we constantly hear a lot about the increase in food import costs. How has Foster's managed these rising costs, maintain competitive prices for customers while also preserving your margins? I mean, you are in the business, you have overheads.
Well, mitigating against price increases is hard. And I think that's the genesis of this conversation is what could we do to deal with that? Can we buy elsewhere from the US? And I've already said I don't need to go back over that.
No.
I mean, we try to make sure that we're buying from the right place. Obviously, competition is in Cayman. And so, we do price checks on our competitors. And if we find, and we also listen to our customers, our customers say, how come your eggs are, like say $10? Your competitor is $9. We'll go and look and say, well, I don't know. Let me go see, and we look into that. So every time somebody sees something and says something, that's really important to us. But we try to buy from the right place, and listen. But eggs is a really tough one right now because everybody's crying about eggs. But the pricing is coming down. But to give you an average case cost, and I say average because there's different sizes, different varieties, different. So if we just take our basket of goods of eggs, prior to the avian flu really going into overdrive, the average case cost of eggs was around $35 or $38. And that average basket went up to nearly 250.
What? Oh, wow.
So
no
now,
wonder you were seeing those prices.
yeah. So I mean, that's a huge increase, right?
Yeah.
And now it's dropped down to, I think it's around 87 or so. So dropped down significantly from its peak, but much higher than its starting point.
Right.
So it's still, but again, there's not much we can do about that, right? And it's, I mean, everybody's it's not just America. It's all over the place. And
All over, yeah.
The US was trying to buy product from other places. They're like, well, so again, theme of the day is difficult. How can we mitigate against that? Like those types of things, avian flu, that's hard, right?
Yeah.
That's very difficult. So I don't know how to fix those. We'll just have to deal with them. I mean, produce, for instance, produce is always a tricky one because it's weather related. It could be any number of things. If I remember when not that long ago we had a huge issue with produce where they had a huge E. coli issue.
Yes.
It was like cauliflower and broccoli and all these things. And basically, I think at the end of the day they tracked it down to, if I remember correctly, it was cattle upstream. And it was getting into the water source, and those prices just skyrocketed for X amount of time because it just.
Yes, I see where also yesterday in the show that we saw where the price of meat in certain states of the U.S. is actually going up right now. Your sirloin and your ground beef is going to probably take a hit. Understanding you have your vendors that you purchase from. Is that something that we could foresee, a blip in that possibly, or it all depends on your vendors? If the cost doesn't affect your vendors, then it wouldn't impact us here, I'm assuming.
Wait, sorry, on beef?
Yeah, on beef. Yeah, that was yesterday. It was breaking news. I got it breaking news on CNN.
What did it say? I missed that one.
The price was increasing. Let me see if I can pull it up here.
Well, it might
prices
be because it's summer. Every summer, the cost of beef goes up because it's grilling season.
Oh, interesting. Yeah,
so
they had said
it's grilling season and the price of meat goes up. So
it says now beef prices are hitting records, rising almost 9% since January, according to the Department of Agriculture, and retailing for $9.26 a pound. June Consumer Index showed steak and ground beef prices were up by 12.4% and 10.3% respectively over the past year. So pretty much they're giving us a warning that, right now in a store in Annapolis, Maryland, beef prices are at record high, almost 9% since January. So they were just headlining that yesterday.
I'll have to look at that, and I mean I don't have an answer because I didn't see that article. So
well, good. That's why we're here on Sabrina Speaks. Give you a hint on that.
I'll just caveat that, but I mean it could be tariff related because a lot of beef sales go to places like Japan and China.
Correct.
And so it could potentially be affected by the tariffs where there's tit for tatting on saying, we're not going to buy your beef.
Okay.
So
right.
If there's less sales, then the price could go up. That doesn't sound like it's the grilling season. That sounds like something else.
Something else.
But
okay.
The U.S. has been under pressure with head count on cattle, and it had been declining. And so if it's that, then that would also raise prices as well. I just saw a lady saying that we have lots of chickens in Cayman.
And we have a caller, Mr. Woody. Good evening, caller. Welcome to Sabrina
Good afternoon, Sabrina. Good afternoon, Hi. Mr. Woody. Siobhan here. Well, I just wanted to ask a question in relation to how does Woody and I guess the Foster's Group intend to handle, and what are some of his predictions? We know the new minimum wage is coming down the pipeline come January 2026. I like to tell people Merry Summer will be there in no time. And I just wanted to know how, because obviously it's going to affect every one of us, at the cash register, and how do they, I guess, envision that playing out, and if do they intend to do anything to kind of alleviate that burden of passing that cost on, and how do they plan to mitigate? So I'll just leave it there and listen.
Thank you so much, caller.
Well, that one should be easy for us because our starting wage was $10.25, and we just did another increase, another COLA increase to our staff, which doesn't include merit. It was a COLA increase, so it just went to $10.50, because we're incrementally trying to get it up to 11.
Oh.
So the 8.75 or whatever is won't affect us.
Mm-hmm. Good for you. Congratulations. And I think that was the wider discussion. And we're going to delve into that as well a little bit more. I think I have a guest from another BOTC location that we're going to be looking at minimum wage and comparable. Not to say that we're cutting anybody, but the mere fact that you are already over $8.75 and is looking at $11, as you rightfully stated, people are fearing that come January, oh my God, this differential in hourly rate is going to be impacting us at the tills. That is not the case from what I'm understanding here at this time. At least it wouldn't be from the new minimum wage requirement, maybe something else.
Right. Now, it might affect somebody else's till, but it won't affect ours. So I don't know what others are paying.
Right. So, okay, we were speaking about eggs just before, which goes into this. There's a growing push for local food security here in the Cayman Islands. How active is Foster's engaging with local farmers and producers in the Cayman Islands? And what are the opportunities and challenges you see in expanding local sourcing?
Well, I mean, we've always bought local produce. There's a argument's not the right word, but I know the farmers would like to get more money from us.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem there is because they sell to both us and the retailer.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're selling it, and just using numbers here, if they're selling whatever for $5 on the street,
Mm-hmm.
obviously we can't give them the same $5 because we need to sell it roughly around the same price. Otherwise, look like we're price gouging or getting sales and so we can't buy it from them at the same price of what they're selling it. So that sometimes is an issue, and it affects then how much product we can get, because rightfully so, if they can get $5 on the street, why would they sell it to us for less?
Correct.
That wouldn't make any sense.
Right.
So we then sort of get the excess, whatever they can't sell. Right? Which generally how it is. So we've always bought local produce.
Hello.
1 second, caller. Go ahead, Mr. Wood.
We'll continue to buy local produce because supporting local is very important. Like eggs, for instance, we've been buying local eggs for a long time, but we've been trying to keep the price down on that by not giving the farmers more, which of course they're unhappy with. But if we give them more, then the price goes up. Right? It's pretty simple. But now what they're with the Nest program, the
government is putting on,
egg, which I think is going to be a really good program, and we've been in communications with them from the beginning, and we're a part. In fact, one of our managers is actually on the inspection team that goes out and inspects the coops and whatnot. So, which we supply that at our labor. So we're very supportive of that. We're very in tune with food security in Cayman, and we do play a part. We do feel that maybe the arguments, I'll say, between us and the local suppliers, where they would like us to give them more, we push back a lot and say, well, if I give you more, the price is going to go up, and we feel it's also our responsibility to not let the price go up. So there's that discussion, which
Okay.
needs to be in it, because everybody has to make a living, right?
Correct.
Everybody has to make
I
a
agree.
profit. We do,
You're
and
in a
farmers
business.
do. But there is this push and pull with not just allowing it to creep up, because again, we're already top 5 in the world for expensive places to live. So we can't just
Correct.
willy-nilly say, yes, I'll give you more.
Correct. Now we have another caller. Good evening, caller. Welcome to Sabrina Speaks. You're live.
Good evening. I heard Mr. Foster say that, and I appreciate that his staff is already being paid above the minimum wage. But anyone that operates a business and he has other subcontractors, is he saying that probably the people that are cleaning his store, the people that are security for his store, are also at minimum wage? Because I am not stupid. I know that those costs from those auxiliary that support businesses has to be passed on. In any business, there's nothing. But to me, those costs from those people, not Foster's direct, not Foster's in particular, but the security guards, the cleaners, they may not be minimum wage. So that means if the companies that actually, the services that he used, increase their overall contract costs for Mr. Foster's Food Fair, Foster's Food Fair, Kirk's, or wherever, is going to have to increase their costs. It's even like the people that are cleaning my yard right now. They may be on minimum wage, and as their costs go up to clean my yard, and my household, they're going to pass the cost on to me. There's no free ride. So I would beg to differ. I mean, fair enough. Foster's proper staff are above minimum wage, but I don't think some of those cleaning companies and security companies are above minimum wage, and those costs has to be passed on. Okay. That is just logical.
Understood.
I don't know.
No, it's a great point, and I do appreciate the caller for bringing that up. The only one so far that I have seen is a security company who has brought that up. But the response from the security company wasn't simply a price increase. It was, let's get together to see what we can do to keep the price down, notwithstanding the price per hour needs to go up. So they were trying to be proactive in terms of, we know we have to do this, but let's see how we can mitigate against it, so that we're not looking at just an outright price increase.
Okay, I appreciate that. I just thought I'd just call with that, because I know in business
That's a great point.
There's no free ride. When I see the people in your and sometimes I go to your supermarket and I see them, and I'm saying they're eating the grapes, they're wasting they're wasting the paper toweling, they're wasting the plastic bags. I say, these people don't realize that there's no free ride, that this cost is being carried. It has to be passed on. I operate a business. It has to be passed on. Yeah. Anyway, thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you
as well, caller, for your participation. Okay, yes. Much appreciated. At least you get that is what this space is for, Woody. And I hope you appreciate the diversity and the question and commentary that is coming through, because you constantly hear, we're being jabbed. We need consumer protection legislation, because I can go up on a weekend and I can go into Walmart and I can pick up, look at this thing of, I can't believe it's not butter. And why should I have to pay $6 more when I get it home? What would you say to those persons when they actually look at it from that perspective? Or let's say a spiral ham. Being specific. They do that one-off comparison, you understand, with soap.
I'll check on a spiral ham for you tomorrow. How do I say again? Well, I mean, if we were to look at the actual price, ours versus theirs, I mean, is it really that far off? I mean, it's challengeable that our prices are that much crazier than somewhere else. Now, if you look at certain things like milk, for instance, our price of milk is much higher than, say, well, anywhere in the US, but let's just stick in South Florida Publix or any of the supermarkets in South Florida. That's where most people go, I guess, right? It's the easiest thing to do.
Yeah, it's closer home.
Publix has their own milk, and their retail on milk is cheaper than I can buy it. I cannot buy milk for the price that Publix retails it at. I can't. So I mean, when you go to a store and you look at things like that, you're like, well, Foster's is robbing us. No, but that's one of those items that, they as a company with, I don't know, 1,500, 2,000, or how many stores they have, they get behind and they make sure that that's a sensitive thing, and they have actual buying power where we don't.
Right.
We just simply can't compete. We can't say, well, Foster should do a better job. Now, when you look at, can't believe it's not butter. I don't know. I would have to look and see whether we're that. No, that's fine. Whether we're actually that much higher, considering we live on a very expensive island. So no, we don't have direct taxes, but we have lots of indirect taxes. We have the cost of shipping. We have all these other things that go with living on a small island that produces next to nothing. There is a cost to dealing with that. Now, are our margins higher than, say, a Publix? I would say yes. Yes, they are. Is our net margin out of sync? I would say yes, it's higher, but I would say that it's not that much higher. Because while we do have competition here, we don't have the level of competition that they have.
They have, right?
That
Okay.
They have there. Plus, they also have scale. But I mean, I can't really use that too much, because I mean, Cayman does an amazing job. The 90,000 people that we have, they love to eat and they go to the supermarket. So.
Which, there's another question that I got in regards to that. So, go ahead.
But anyway, I mean, I think we do a decent job as an industry in terms of margin. Somebody always get asked, can you sell your products cheaper?
Yeah.
I think the easy response, the most honest response is yes. But at what expense? And what I mean by that is
quality, maybe?
Well, quality of supermarkets is expensive. I mean, if you look around the Caribbean, or even in the US for that matter, the quality of supermarkets in the Cayman Islands is really good. Not patting myself on the back, but we are at a very high quality, and it costs money to do that. We're continuously expanding. I mean, you showed the old pictures of where we came from to where we are now. We have things in the pipeline. Hurley's is finally putting up a second store. They're putting back their Eden Center store, so it'll be back to 2 stores. Our competitors, Kirk's, I don't think is going to be that far behind that. They're looking at a second store out east a little bit. We're going to be replacing our Savannah store within the next few years. It's going to be a major increase because we've run out of space. We have earmarked to expand our airport store at some point in time, because the airport is going to more than likely push us out of our airport store location. So all of these things take a lot of money, and we are looking downstream at making sure that our stores are at a very high that's the word I'm looking for here, high bar for
You're setting the bar
for the foreseeable future. So 20 years from now, our goal is for Foster's to continue to be the preeminent supermarket chain in the Caribbean. And quite frankly, we're prepared to go up against the US or Canada in terms of our offering. And we're putting the money behind that. When we put in a store, our kitchens alone are over $1 million to put in our kitchens, because of the amount of food we're producing, but the equipment that we put in there, just takes a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
And if we don't continuously invest and reinvest, then the quality goes down. And that's a different issue.
Nobody wants that.
Well, we're not prepared for that. We don't think that this market wants that, though it does affect the cost of goods.
Yeah. Now, you're talking about the investment just in the kitchen, but that is just kitchen, like appliances. Technology is also rapidly transforming in retail. Now, beyond traditional point of sale system, as you know it is POS, what are their experiences in streamlining of operations or improve back end efficiencies? Have you actually considered implementing to make the operations much easier? I noticed the other day you guys are doing, I know you were doing that from COVID, but it looks as though now you've ballooned into doing this online shopping and delivering stuff at home.
Hello.
1 second, caller. Can you turn down your radio or TV? No, your TV
Yes,
down.
I will.
Yes, and then Mr. Woody's going to answer a question. Then I'll take your call. Okay. Go ahead, Woody.
So online is a very small part of our business. I mean, it's like really small, and we haven't really seen where it's trending upwards.
Okay.
And I'm going to say that it's probably due to cost, because we charge a delivery fee, we charge a picking fee. So on top of the already high prices, now you got to pay more to get it, for somebody to pick it for you and to have somebody deliver it. And all of the stores are relatively close to each other. So in this market, it's not a big business. Innovation, we've recently implemented electronic shelf tags. That's a labor saver for us, but the real savings is not just in the labor. The real savings is in accuracy. Because I would say that we probably had I wouldn't say bad name, but a less than ideal name in terms of accuracy on what our shelf tags said and then what you got billed at the register. More often than we would like, let me put it that way, we would get complaints that I bought this mouse for $3.29 and your shelf tag said it was supposed to be $2.99. You're ripping me off. Those are just mistakes because of the logistics of price changing. So when we change a price by whatever, 1 cent, $100, it doesn't really matter. The amount of touches that goes into that from the time we get the change of price from the supplier to when it goes up on the shelf to when it goes through the register, there are so many opportunities for mistakes.
Right.
We tried our hardest. I can honestly tell you, we tried our best to not make it happen, but it happened way too many times than we would like. So we've been looking at electronic shelf tags for years, but the problem is the expense. So they've finally come down to a level that we thought the price was justifiable, and we just completed all stores, and that cost us about $1.5 million to switch to electronic shelf tags. But through labor savings, and we're putting X amount of dollars to errors in pricing, that we think that we'll be able to pay for that in, say, 7 years. But those are investments in terms of what you're asking, right? So some of the things that people will be asking are, what about self-checkout and some of those things? Those are a little bit slower. E-commerce is not that easy in Cayman for dealing with self-checkout. So one, we want that to be stronger before we really head down that road. But then when we do it, we're going to do it small, because we believe that a person in the register is still more important than self-checkout.
Understood.
So whenever we put it in, we'll grow with it, as opposed
All
to
right.
say transforming to where we'll take people out of the
Out of
registers.
drug. Right.
We don't really see that, because what we see in our industry is those that tried it are sort of moving back towards having a more balanced approach where you have
All right.
both.
Yeah.
And that's the direction that we would go in, and with a lean more heavily on having people in the register than on
Okay.
self-checkout. But we'll see.
We got a caller on hold. Good evening, caller. You're live on Sabrina Speaks. Hello.
That's me?
Yes.
That's me. Good evening,
It's
Sabrina.
you.
Good evening,
Good evening.
Mr. Woody Foster.
Good evening.
How are you all doing this evening?
Fantastic.
First of all, I must say, when I think of Foster's and the way they operate, I've been knowing the store before it even opened. They opened their first store. I was there working at it. And I remember, now I don't know what it was, a pre-teenager when the store opened, I'm sure. It opened in 1980, right, Woody?
1988. It was a great day for me, because not because we opened the store, because I got to get out of school early.
Yeah. When Foster's opened, they opened with the idea of making that what they call it? A no-frills supermarket was the word that I heard my boss was talking about. A no-frills supermarket. You realize that when Foster's opened, they didn't have any air conditioning in that place, in their supermarket. They were that was going to cut one big cost, air conditioning, right? And because the prices of things are starting to go up. I mean, we're talking about 4 to 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. I mean, you were probably still a little
I was only about
tiny
5.
young girl.
Mm-hmm.
Nevertheless, you're a big woman ruling over us, but that's okay. We're fine with that. What is a big man running the Foster thing? Oh, but what is good, and I wouldn't one time want to take his job or be in his job. His father was a great one.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh, Dave, he was.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know how to describe him, right? But he was just like, oh no, he sit down and just ask him something. Cause I used to do his personal, their personal air conditioning for their car, all their cars and their companies and things. It was very few that I didn't do for them. Hundreds of things I did for them. And Dave was just that kind of man. I believe it was even not Jake Scott. But the thing was, it was a no-frills supermarket. But soon what happened was, I don't know what it might have been. I don't know if he might know this or he might not know it. I don't know. He's there to talk to himself. That they realized in short order that the chillers and the coolers and all of that, the freezers, all the display things were open. They were getting hot air on it, and they were burning just as much electricity. And I don't know. I can't remember, because I left Mike Sice in the end of 1980 when Foster's opened. I left Mike Sice, and I don't know just when. And I think it was Mike that put in the first air conditioning in the first supermarket there. But even from then, they were thinking about cost and not trying to get things as reasonable as possible for the people. That's the kind of person Mr. Dave was. Mm-hmm. Dave Foster was a man like that. And you talk about the electronic checkout and all that sort of thing. I came into the supermarket. Well, I was not so smart. I made the wife and her assistant go to the supermarket, and I went to the wholesale part down the bottom, Price Rate. I went to Price Rate. But it was a particular chip that I wanted. Then I went and I searched the whole chip rack. I couldn't find that. I went to the cashier and I was checking on. I said, I don't really want this one, but I'll take this. But it's this particular chip. That young lady left her cash register, went down and looked and brought back the chips. Mm-hmm. Now listen to me. This is cashier in person, not electronic checkout. Right? And bought some, and it wasn't. I was particular. I wanted the onion and something. I didn't tell her which one I wanted. Right? And she walked back down to wherever it was, aisle 7. I think I know where it is now. Aisle 7, and brought back up 2 packs for me. Now I can tell you something. It's not everywhere you're going to go that you're going to get that type of help. I'm on a handicap scooter, right? And the young lady, you need to find out who that one is and take good care of her, Mr. Woody. Believe you me.
Thank you.
I so much appreciated it.
Well, thank you.
I appreciate it to the top. Because now I know where it is. Now I've been shopping with Foster's from 1980, so 45 years of shopping. You're supposed to know what's going on. Another thing, I think that your daddy had done when he was there, which I found very good, was that he had all along the top, I don't know if you remember it, all along the top where you could see above the shelves, right, was in alphabetical order right around, and things that were under it, like the popular things that would be under A, B, C, all alphabetically laid out.
Yeah.
For those that didn't want to search the shelves that weren't shopping. For the buyer, men buy and women shop.
The aisle directory. Yes. I know you're talking at the airport store. Yes. You had me lost there for a second, but I got you now. I remember it. But thank you for that. I appreciate that.
That was a good one.
Yes. Thank you so much.
That was a good one.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you for your contribution as usual.
Take care. Thank you.
Yes, sir. And of course, I'll be shopping at Foster's when I can.
Oh, yeah. Appreciate it.
And all the best of luck.
Yes.
Take care. Thank you.
You're doing a good job.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Now, those testimonials are amazing. But just going back now to, and we appreciate everyone who's contributing, be it on our platform, social media platform, and definitely who called in. Now, our Cayman Islands market has a unique blend of not only locals, expats, and tourists. How does your organization tailor its products, offerings, and even marketing strategies to cater to such diverse customers? Because it almost like what we're seeing, that the consumption that is making us one of the biggest importers of top 58 from the US is based on trends that we're seeing here. That must impact even your purchasing, how you purchase stuff to put on the shelves.
Really, I think it's just listening. We read periodicals. We get supermarket periodicals from the UK. We get them from the US. We watch the same TV you do, notwithstanding I missed that CNN article. We look, we listen, we read. When we travel, unfortunately, we're supermarket geeks. We go into supermarkets when we travel, and just constantly trying to get the right items. And listen to our customers. So, whether you see it in our competitor store, you see it while you're away. I have one particular customer who messages me often because she travels often. I said, "Hey, I saw this in Costco's. I saw that in Costco's. Hey, can you get this?" And I always said, "I don't know. We'll look." And we look, and if we can get it, we try it. If it works, we bring it in again. If it doesn't work, we stop. But we try it. Plus our suppliers, they kind of say, "Hey, we got these new items. Try these." So it's a myriad of things in terms of trying to get that. With Cayman's diversity of people, not just the diversity of people, but they travel. So they don't just simply come here to work. They travel a lot, and so the need is great. And so really the response for me is really just try to listen.
Do you have any loyalty programs that those loyalty programs? Do you have any of those that are going on? I know you used to do the scratch thing, like the sweepstakes thing.
Yeah, well, those were gimmicks, I suppose, as opposed to loyalty programs. They worked well. Everything in its season. Foster's currently does not have a loyalty program. Both of our competitors do, Kirk's and Hurley's. They differ, but they do have them. So we are in the process of looking at one. But I'm always honest, but I'll say I'll be honest.
We appreciate that.
My team has been trying to win me over on, because I have not been a great fan of loyalty programs because my personal reasoning is I don't want to give you, Sabrina, a better price than somebody else simply because you're a loyalty member. So my approach has been, and this is from my dad, it's not mine, I've carried it on from my dad, is to be all things as best as possible, be all things to all people. I want to take care of those with less than those that have. I don't want to give to you, but not to you, and just get the prices as good as you can and give it to everybody.
That's fair.
But
I can see why you would take that stance.
So, but what you lose is you lose an immense amount of data by not having loyalty programs. And then you can then cater different offerings and whatnot to different people, do different things, and you can get a lot more creative. So like, I mean, we've had ad circulars since the day we started, right? So 45 strong, we've had an ad program. Our ad program is sort of slipping in terms of as a percentage of sales. It's not as heavy hitting as it used to be for a myriad of reasons. And so one of the things that we're looking at doing to fix that is that rather than tweaking our ad program, we're looking at possibly going to a loyalty program that we could then have a better my battery is about to go. Give me 1 second. So we're thinking that a loyalty program might be a better fix for our ad program. And so we are investing in research in terms of what would make the most sense for us. So we are looking at it. A long response to your question.
No, that's fine. I mean, the mere fact that our customers are appreciating the conversation, the mere fact that this was not a stage thing. These questions are just coming off the cuff. And the mere fact that you're giving us the perspective of what you have to go through as a merchant and representing all those in the industry, I think is admirable of you. And it just shows the importance of us working together to provide the best service for the country and not just the Foster brand. And that stuck out to me earlier on in the interview when you said you're actually, you're here as a merchant, which is why I chose that word, because that you are. We have other competitors in the market, but on an island that we are, I'm quite sure that it's important to maintain good relationship and camaraderie with even the other competitors. That would just be the sensible thing to do in business.
Well, we do. I mean, we don't collaborate, but we do communicate. And so, like, especially during COVID, we have or any disaster, we have a supermarket group that the NEOC, which is the you'll remember what NEOC is, that National Emergency.
Hazard management, that up,
Yeah. Rather than them trying to find each person, they just deal with us as a group. We set up a WhatsApp group, and so we collaborate like that when we have to. But just to show the level of collaboration or support is while we fight every day in terms of for market share, if you will. Foster's was always anti online shopping. We did not believe that online shopping made sense because we thought it would be too expensive for the consumer, and we didn't think it would do well. And so we said our competitors are happy to run with it. You can have it. We're not interested.
Right.
Along comes COVID and changes the thinking. We're like, oh snap!
Oh my goodness.
Well, maybe we can't afford to do that. So how can we get online going right now? Not in a year from now. Right now. The only way we could do that was because again, we're not a large country. We can't just go and call Instacart or those folks, because they don't talk to us because Cayman is too small. So the company that made the most sense for us was a company called Fresh Shop. where Hurley's is who dealt with Fresh Shop. And Fresh Shop says, we can't talk to you unless Hurley says it's okay.
Correct.
Call it Randy and goes, no problem, bro. Go ahead.
Oh.
And so because of that, we were able to open up with online in a matter of weeks, as opposed to a matter of a year or however long. And that was through collaboration, because we're all Caymanians in dealing with a problem, where it wasn't like, well, you're my competitor, bro. You can die in your own. Whatever.
Yeah, go right.
Right. It was nation first, and that was amazing. But then we're back to fighting again.
Okay.
But yeah.
We have another caller on hold. Good evening, caller. Welcome back.
Good evening, Siobhan here again. I wanted to ask a little bit of two different questions, if you will, not specifically relating to food security and or sustainability, but you have my dream job. Like I wanted to do your job, and I still do. I go
Still
to your
can.
grocery store every single day. I go to the grocery store every single day, and I come up with what I would do if I own a supermarket. But anyway, lest I digress. I have two small complaints, and forgive me for doing it here, but I guess there may be other people out there, some who may not be as, I guess, brave as me to ask these questions, but I believe that you're only as good as, I guess, your customers and getting it right in them. And I'm sure that that's what you guys are all committed to. I am an avid shopper. I shop at every grocery store in Cayman, from West Bay all the way to Hurley's. And I have noticed quite frequently, to be fair, in all of them, I shop at Foster's most prevalently notice it there. Sometimes I can almost tell you price for price what the price is on the shelf versus when I go to the till. And I've noticed quite a bit, and in more recent, I'm seeing an uptick of it where it'll say $1.95 on the shelf, and I get to the till and it's $2.50. While I understand and appreciate prices will increase and such, that's a given. I shop by the price on the shelf. That's something that I've noticed, and I'm not sure, how good or what you guys are doing to address that. And I'm also very concerned about cost in terms of, I know obviously if you buy in bulk you get a better price, but let's take the West Bay store for instance. I could be wrong and I stand corrected. I noticed that we don't have a bulk price for the price right in Georgetown. Like they have bulk meat per se. That price option is not available in West Bay, or not that I've seen, not that I've noticed. And I also noticed that there's a significant difference, forgive me, in some of the quality, particularly of produce in West Bay, and particularly of items on the shelf. Like, I'll just give you an example. Spicy brown mustard. I couldn't find it in West Bay. I had to drive to Cayman Bay. So if you could speak to some of those things and some of the things that you guys, I guess, are doing, and I understand in terms of demographic, not everything in West Bay is going to be consumed on Steph Beach, et cetera, et cetera. I get that part, but perhaps maybe you could break it down for people who aren't as big as.
I have a terrible memory, so stay on the phone because I'm sure you gave me a lot there. I tried to answer your first question, which was a differing in price on the shelf versus the register. I answered that earlier when I talked about electronic shelf tags. If you find now that you see a price on the shelf that is different from the register, please let us know, because that should not happen. Electronic shelf tags should have fixed that. So that shouldn't be an issue. So basically how it works now is when we initiate a price change, instead of this whole myriad of logistics that we had to do to deal with it in the past, now the team puts it in the system, and no changes happen during the working day. It happens overnight when everybody's sleeping, right? So you shouldn't see a price change before your eyes while you're taking a box of macaroni and cheese off the shelf. That should also never happen. So the prices change, like let's just call it 2 o'clock in the morning when nobody's around, and it'll then change across all stores because it's all linked to one system. We don't have multi-tiered pricing like some people believe. Whatever price you see at one store is the same price you see at another, unless there's a mistake or unless one is marked down because of dating or whatever. So hopefully that situation should now be fixed because of the electronic shelf tags.
Perfect.
What was the second one? And you'll have to go through one by one for me.
The bulk prices that are given at the priced right side of things
On
versus
meat?
the retail side of things.
Like the pick 5 or whatever. The pick.
No, pick 5 would be
No,
different.
no,
Pick 5 is
no,
only at
no, no,
retail. She's
different.
talking about the club packs. That we don't
Oh,
have.
okay,
We do have club packs at Republics, but we don't have. The variety is a little bit smaller, and it's simply because of supply and demand. There's more customers at Price Right than there are at the Republic's Price Right, and so there's just less variety. But we do have it.
Okay.
Number 3, because we had about 4 things.
And the number 3 is access to quality. And in terms of different varieties, what's available in the West Bay store versus what's available in Command Bay. And I just gave a random example, which
I think that was 2 items. I think the first one, I think the quality was on produce, I think.
Yes.
Okay, I'll speak to that. And we did/do, and the did/do, I'll explain that, is we expanded the produce department significantly when we put in a new store, when we did the expansion. So when we did the expansion, we added 12,000 square feet total to the store. So it went from 33,000 square feet to 45,000. A large part of that was bakery deli, but we also increased the size of produces as well. So the transition from the amount of sales that we were doing, or I shouldn't call it sales, I call it footsteps, people, customers, that it was going to take to drive the business of the new size took us about a year to get up to that customer base. In the meantime, we still had to have product on the shelves. And so we were having a rotation issue where we weren't turning it over fast enough through customers buying it, and our team wasn't turning it over fast enough to make sure that you weren't getting quality issues. So 2 things. One is the foot traffic is where we expect it to be now. And so the size of the department matches the amount of customers. And so now it's just left up to my team, making sure that they rotate the product properly. We're having a little bit of an issue there in terms of team. We've had some rollover in staff, but you shouldn't see now what you were seeing, say, a year ago. And hopefully what I said is accurate. But we are working on it, and there's much less incidents now with rotation than we were having before.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you so much.
And the 4th one?
I can't
remember. 4th one was
remember.
just a variety. I think the 4th one was just a variety. I think it was.
The variety of access to,
So-
I know, right? Access
So
to
here-
a variety of different varieties, so to speak.
So here's my issue there. So the issue there is when we took over the store from Mr. Lewin in 1999, I think it was 8,000 square feet, and servicing pretty much just West Bay. In 2008, we expanded it to 33,000 square feet to take in more customers. However, it was really only dealing with West Bay. So the clientele in West Bay is different than the clientele on 7 Mile Beach. And basically you're talking about disposable income, right? In terms of there's more money on 7 Mile Beach than there is in West Bay. And so when we designed the store and the products in the store, it was to take care of that market of just West Bay. Now, when DART put the road, the bypass all the way into West Bay, into Badamanoo,
That changed things.
X amount of years later, it has completely changed the dynamics of West Bay. And so instead of people leaving West Bay, people were coming into West Bay.
Coming to West Bay. Yep.
Now all of a sudden, our store and our products don't match the customer base. And so, which is what caused us to spend all that money on the expansion of adding the 12,000 square feet so that we could better take care of those customers. Now, that part's easy. The hard part is, how do I put in the right items to match the customer base? Because that's not magic. I don't have a little Tinkerbell sprinkling pixie dust that says, well, put this one in and this one will sell. So it's sort of trial and error. And we look at our, we take our category manager and we look at all the items that came out of being in the different stores and say, well, let's take these top 10 items in this category and make sure they're in West Bay. But that's not going to pick up an item like flat toothpicks, for instance, where if that's what you like and we don't have it, I'm going back to Cayman Bay because they don't have what I want. So it takes time for us to listen to the customers, listen to what they want, listen to the things that they can't find, and us then reacting. And it just simply takes time. There's no magic.
Gotcha.
Thank you so much, caller, for your contribution. I hope that you definitely were.
You answered
There we go.
Everybody's questions.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like I said, there are other people who have seen questions.
Yeah.
So I'm just bold enough to ask them, but thank you.
There you go. Thank you, as usual, for your contribution. Have a good evening. Now, Woody, you can see based on all of the questions right here, Ms. Sue McLaughlin, I think she had a question in regards. So why is it Picanha beef gone up so high? I've been buying it for a few years from $20, same size, new cost $38. Unbelievable how this has happened. And we were talking about the price of beef.
I'll find out.
Okay. Well, yes, Ms. Sue, we'll definitely give you that response. You can either share it with me.
20 to 38.
Yeah, from 20
and
to 38.
I'll respond to you and you can get back to Sue.
Definitely, I will. Now, I noticed also Ms. Gina Wilson says people travel from Eastern District now to shop at West Bay. And I know I have two aunts. They love Republics down there in West Bay. And I know that there are people in Savannah Newlands too. Savannah Newlands too. Did I hear that they're driving? I'm like, you just like to drive? And they're like, nope, that's where I'm going. So good for you.
Well, hopefully in a few years we'll take care of that when we deal with the Savannah. We'll
Even Sandra says she like down there. There we go. Now we have another caller. So as I displayed,
I do have to leave by 6. I do have to leave by 6:30.
6:30, and I want to thank you for holding out with us. Let's take this final caller, and then I'll throw one final question at you. You don't have to worry, and then we can wrap up for the evening. But thank you so much, Woody. Caller, you're live. Welcome to Sabrina Speaks.
Good evening, Miss Sabrina. Good evening, Mr. Foster. It is, I just called to say thank you. I have been shopping at Foster's for as long as I can ever remember. And I remember the good old days and I still remember the good days today. So I just want to say a big thank you. I know where Foster's have come from. I know where it has started. I mean, I know your father. I know other members of the Foster family, and I just want to say thank you for all that you do. You know, I know your dad isn't around, but
yes,
I knew him very well, and he is. I know he's still with you, and I just smile every time I go to Foster's, and I see his picture, and I see Mr. C's picture, and I just smile. Because it brings back a lot of memories for me over the years. And I want to say thank you. Keep up the good work. And, you know, I'm one Caymanian that is just super proud and grateful that a Caymanian family stepped up to the plate. And here we are so many years later, and it's still going strong. And I just want to say thank you to everyone at Foster's that do what they do. I just want to say thank you. And a big thank you to you, Woody, because you are the face of Foster's, and believe you me, you are doing an awesome job. So thank you, young man, and continue to do what you do. And it is appreciated in the Caymanian community. And I just want to say thank you. and have a good evening.
So kind of you,
and
Colin.
thank you for coming on and educating us about how things get
Really works.
from where they need to go
Yeah.
to get to us, the pricing and all of that. You're doing an awesome job, and thank you. And God continue to bless everyone at Foster's and the Foster's family. Thank you, Woody. And thank you, Miss Sabrina. Have a
You're
pleasant
more than
evening.
welcome. Thank you, caller. Yes, some people are asking, what about Kim and Brack? Any plans on expanding over to the sister islands? Boy, they're putting you in the hot chair today. I did not expect this.
No, we've had many requests for the Brack, but no, we're not headed to the Brack.
Okay. Well, we got one of our VIP callers. We have a lot of VIP callers, but we got one particular one. But I'm going to ask you to be brief because Mr. Woody has to leave us.
Well, I won't be brief. I won't be brief, but only two questions I want asking because I just come from Foster's. So I'm giving him money to hear what he said. Only two things I asked him, Mr. Woody. I don't know if you know like but one asking you, please enforce in all these supermarkets this customer service thing we got 7 items or less and 10 items or less. Please tell the cashiers that when people come out there, don't care how full the supermarket is, they could be on the top. If they got more items, they cannot check out there because I got person. If you think I'm lying, you can ask UP, your security guard. And I got to say the exact word what they told me, but I had 3 items in my hand and I was by the 7 or less. One lady was behind me with 4 items and up comes and I call in the nationality name because I don't want to bother bashing me because with a full cart of stuff. Nobody never said nothing to her. The woman said to me, but apparently this mongrel that attacked me and tell me that I'm effed out. And that shit all and effed out, and that shit, they will shoot me, and they will kill me, and I was going to wait outside on her. But my person that I was with said, no, Michelle, I call my name, you're bigger than that. And she wasn't going to chop me up or kill me, but why had I would kill her and hold her. I didn't have chopper to kill her, but I was going to hold her there till the police come and be handcuffed. And the lady said to me, but I didn't know that this ape that jumped me, cause that's nothing but what she is, cause she looked like she come from where they war that they would eat your hair out your head. The woman said to me, well, where this lady going? She said, can't be they can check her out before us because see the sign. And she jumped up and then they said that the cashier was supposed to tell them. Not us, well, no, I say nobody. And I was saying that to you, man, but please tell your cashiers, I don't care what nationality it is, and if they're the same nationality, if they come there with more items than what they're allowed to check out, tell them, because actually, Tom, you look like you got it compact down pat, but Savannah, no, and I live in New London. I've been out here plenty of years before they had anything out there. When I come out here with Lone Bush, I've been out here from 1985 and I got nowhere else to go but in my grave when I did.
So, caller, you're asking for more observance in holding
I'll
accountable.
tell you what the problem is.
Don't take full carts.
I'll tell you what the problem is. That the problem that we have is the abuse that the cashiers get from customers. So when they say something, they get a lot of abuse. So some of them get timid and say, I don't want to deal with the harassment, so they just do it. But Sam is correct. We need to, it's a long-standing issue, and we simply have to do a better job because it's there for a reason. And then when customers break the rule and when we allow them to break the rule, it has consequences, right? She's upset, and that's legitimate. But
yeah, but she caused me all kind of burden. Tell me I'm old and that stuff. No, and I tell her, so you're not gonna live to get old. I said I agree that God, and I said I look better than you. I don't know how old you is, but I can tell you, and I'm tell you the word that I tell her. But I look better than her, and I gonna be 71 next month. And I'm not waiting for after today. People were telling me how pretty I is and why I don't. And you have to see her.
Hopefully that was the customer, not my staff.
Yeah.
But I can tell that you know me, and I hit her back, and I tell her, I said, look, you remember got these short hair on your head like a Jesus grass not peanut, and I'm not going to coat tail or horse tail on my head. So you will sit down. Who you think you is?
the shelf.
You had a second item?
You had another question because he has to leave.
And I agree with that girl about the prices because I get that's another thing you need to tell them because I, for one, if I buy one bean today and it went up 1 cent, I know that it's going up. Which, if that's the price, but then like when I go, I budget my money, and if I see something on the shelf and I think that it's too expensive for me or whatever, and just tell you the truth, I don't buy it. But when I go up to the register, if I see $1.99, because that's another thing I need to question because I think that I went out there night before last night and I got one sweet potato, just one small one. And all I know I seen that the price, because I looked at prices and I think it was $2 something and I got my receipt where they charged me $3.99 a pound. And they charged me like $3.19 or something for one little small potato, and I said, I want to question it.
Yeah, but please
I see that a lot of time that things on the shelf say one price, and then when you get up to the register tell you, and then some of them wants to ape you too about, well, that's the price in the register. I say, yeah, but it's, one time I didn't tell God bless his soul, but when Mr. Miller, and he was one of my favorites, I used to get rides from him, airport at Miller night when I went up then one time, when he was up in his, I had went and get something, and when I went to the register, it was a different price. And he said, well, they called him and he said, well, that's the price. I said, but listen, if this were Publix, whatever that shall say, whether it were right or wrong, they have to give it to the customer for what I say. Well, this is came on, he said, it's not a U.S. That's the words he gave me.
Yeah, and there are
and go on.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully we've resolved that issue. But if we made a mistake, absolutely, we'll sort it out.
Thank you.
Thank you, because whatever I see on the shelf is what I expect to pay.
Mm-hmm.
You have to take the loss, but I pick it up, and then if they don't get to me for that, well, I don't want it. You can keep it, and I'm telling you straight because I am straight. I talk straight. I can tell anybody anything I got said to their face. I don't have to talk behind their back. Who know me, know me. Anytime that happened to me.
Leave us there, Michelle, no, because our guest has to leave.
Argue with you. Two customers, they're not going to customer service skills.
Thank you so much, as usual. Thank you so much. Mr. Woody, I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your day. And I know, you can see by the participation that it has been a very informative one. I hope that people actually appreciate the purpose of this, because we were speaking about similar importation, the risks, our vulnerabilities. But I wanted to make sure that we had an idea of being able to put in this platform so that persons can see it from your lens. And I think you did an amazing job with letting us into your world so that you understand exactly all of the sticks, all of everything that you have to put up with. But final question. What aspect of leading Foster's Supermarket, understanding that you were there from a little one and you're carrying on the legacy, are you most passionate or have that big takeaway from today? Understanding, looking forward, there are greater things to come. But I'm quite sure there must have been some things that just leaves that fuzzy feeling in you that, resonate with you going forward.
Well, sorry, hold on. What is the one thing that resonates more with me as sort of my years
and leading that and continue? Yes. And what are you most passionate about today?
Okay, because there's two different answers.
Mm-hmm.
I would say over the years that I'm most passionate about is being a part of the growth of the company with my dad. From one of my favorite stories is before the airport store actually opened, security guard wasn't able to make it to work, and so he said, well, I'm going to go in and sleep at the store. And says, I want to come. So he and I went to the store. He had his spare gun with him. That was his security, was his spare gun. And him and I slept on cardboard on the store, acting as security. So it's that, and all of the 1,000 changes that the store has made being there. I mean, my dad was, an amazing person, yes, but he was a hard man as well. I mean, and I say that with the greatest of respect and most of love, because in his hardness wasn't out of bad mind. His hardness was out of doing right by the customer and making sure that his business grew. And so he didn't tolerate fools, and he didn't tolerate slackness. And so as kids, when we did that, he chewed our asses. And I probably shouldn't be able to say that.
There's no 9:30 on this, but I get what you're saying.
So he was tough, but he taught you character and work ethic, and he made you a better person. So even through all of that, so all of the tears, so he fired me a few times, I quit a few times, but in all of that, he was building me, and the same is true for my brothers and sisters, my cousins, and so for me, that's the big passion is being a part of him growing the store and being there with him, and my mom as well. I can't leave her out. I'm my uncle.
Right.
Saying that, and what drives me moving forward is people. How can we make whoever comes to work for Foster's better? Whether they stay with us for a month, whether they stay a year, whether they stay 10 years, whenever they decide to leave, I want them to be a better person. And I want them to look back and say, yeah, I left Foster's either because they didn't pay me enough, or I found a better job, or whatever. But I'll continue to tell people it's a good place to work. I'll continue to tell people it's a good place to shop, because it's a good place to do both. For me, that's where my passion is.
Wow. Now, let me tell you something. I'm not even going to say very much more, because you actually did a phenomenal job. You can see by the commentary that's coming in. And I want to thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart of being able to, share your insights into the whole navigation of imports, the challenges, and for all that you do here for the Cayman Islands. And Woody, I want to again thank you. And on behalf of the CMR family, definitely the Sabrina Speaks family, we want to thank you for shedding light on how Foster's Supermarket actively builds resilience and work to keeping prices manageable for our community. I mean, you have shared some stats, some real facts. It's not that this is a put on for you. And I appreciate your candor. I appreciate your honesty. I appreciate you even responding to a lot of the comments that were here. And hopefully that has educated, informed, and dispelled any myths that they may have once they visit your stores. I want to, God bless your family, and I want to wish you all continued success. Thank you so much.
Thanks for the opportunity.
Sure. Have a good evening.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, that again is another edition of the Sabrina Speaks right here on CMRTV.com. It has been a wonderful evening, and I hope that you all can appreciate all that we have done here and what this platform is willing to offer, be it here from our brothers and sisters regionally, so that we can share perspective that it's not necessarily unique. And what you may think in the back of your mind is not always a reality. And I am most grateful for the service industry experts who take the time out of their day and out of their businesses as well to come here and inform and educate each and every one of us. But without your participation, your continued support, it's not worth it. You are the ones that matter. And that's why I appreciate every one of you. I totally appreciate every one of you for being here. Until tomorrow evening, where we'll then shed some light. And speaking with Miss Beverly Edgington of the Cayman Islands Breast Cancer Foundation to share more about what that is, and having some talks in regards to all the services, the wellness treatments that are there. And guess what? We will also have some giveaways. So exactly how you participated here today, we want to build and triple those numbers up even more tomorrow evening. Until tomorrow, have a safe and blessed Tuesday evening. That's a wrap for today's edition of Sabrina Speaks. Thank you for tuning in and for being part of the conversation. Remember, the dialogue doesn't stop here. Stay engaged, stay informed, and most importantly, stay empowered. We'll be back tomorrow at 5 p.m., same time, same place, right here on CMR TV and radio, where your voice matters and your truth is heard. Until then, K-Man, take care of yourself and each other.
That's it for today's edition of Sabrina Speaks, where your voice matters, your story counts, and your truth is always welcome. Join us weekdays from 5 until 6:30 p.m. right here on CMR TV as we dive into the topics that matter most to you. Catch the show live or on demand at cmrtv.com. And don't forget to follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram so you never miss a moment. Until next time, stay informed, stay engaged, and always speak your truth.